We are disappointed. We are going to hang ourselves. As a Venom fan, literally, I have this dude tattooed on my arm. We are disappointed. Oh. We're gonna do this standing up style, gangster style. Shit. I'm so mad. Actually, you know what? I can't even be mad at this movie because the trailer indicated exactly what type of movie we were gonna get. Fuck, man. We wanted to be wrong. Like, Sly Spy said it the best. You can't be mad at a movie you didn't expect to be good to begin with. Fuck, man, I need a drink. Fucking Sony and shit, man. Sony and their bullshit, dude. Man. And you know what the worst part is? The worst part for me. The worst part for me is fuck, man. I need something stronger than this. The worst part for me is the fact that I really try to defend Sony on many things. Because I'm one of those few people out there that actually really enjoyed Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2. And while there were some issues with Amazing Spider-Man, I always felt like Sony, the people working on the movie, had the best intentions of putting together a good Spider-Man movie. That's the thing. So when it came time for Venom to come around, I just kept that in mind. Like, I always felt like, yeah, a lot of people always want, ever since the Avengers came out, people have been asking for Marvel to buy back the rights. And, everybody's gotten on that train. But I was never really one of those people that was really big on this. But after seeing this fucking movie, man, I just don't understand. Actually, part of me can understand knowing about the industry and the way Hollywood works and how they put out movies. Part of me really understands. The other part of me feels like they must know, Sony and company, they must know they can't keep on putting shit out like this. You already see what's happening with Fox. That's the part that really bothers me. It's like, this movie was written like it was 1994 and shit. Like, we shouldn't, like, all the writing was already on the wall. Don't get me started with that fucking Eminem song. I'm glad I didn't listen to it beforehand, but if that's the same one everybody was talking about before, it was the end credits. This shit, to me, personally, this movie was worse than Suicide Squad. like Suicide Squad at least had some good takeaway moments. I'm struggling with this movie to find anything good I liked about this movie. And that sucks because I really want it. Like, I like the imagery of this movie. I mean, I like the imagery of the promotional campaign. I I like the all the stuff that they were giving away. Everything that just has Venom's head is dope. You obviously see I'm a huge fan, and I walked around. I even got a shirt. I got a dope ass shirt, and it's just weird. I just can't understand. Like, I really want to know what is the what what was the fucking problem with why can't they include Spider-Man or even some form of a reference? I don't understand that at all. I can't understand why they can come to an agreement for Homecoming and they can have Spider-Man show up in the Infinity War, but you can't arguably one of Spider-Man's greatest villains. Um, and you can't even reference him. Like, I think that's the thing that really bothered me was the fact that, look, when I heard that they're not really, like, Spider-Man's not really going to be in the movie. There's a lot of contradicting things, honestly. I think so. There's a lot of shit that happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. Remember the rumor of Tom Holland doing a cameo? Tom Hardy said that the White Spider was actually going to be on Venom. Remember, like, all that was going around? Like, something must have just fallen apart, to be honest, behind the scenes. And then so they had to omit certain things or whatever, or maybe Marvel felt that the movie was just fucking trash. But, like, I just don't understand why. I don't know, guys. In short, I mean, like, and it sucks. It really sucks because I personally want, I think we need something to complement the MCU. It can't just only be the MCU. And as you guys have seen my reviews previously, I like I like Spider-Man Homecoming. I didn't love it. I liked it, but I still think there are better Spider-Man movies because Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters, and I feel because Sony only has Spider-Man, they treat it better. They treat the pop property better. They're like, yo, we can't fuck this up, or at least we assume they think that, and we want you get more in depth into Peter Parker's world. But with Spider-Man in the MCU now, you basically have Spider-Man living in Tony Stark, the Avengers world. And it's fine because we've had so many side Spider-Man stories, but I just we need something to complement the MCU. And even with the Fox deal going down, part of me doesn't really want the X-Men to be part of the MCU or Marvel to be running the MCU because I don't want all the movies essentially being kind of similar to each other in some form or fashion, or making too many connections, if you know what I mean. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, if basically my thoughts on this particular movie, the things that stand out the most for me was I just didn't feel any connection. They essentially tried to give you a setup of they tried to give you character development in like 5 minutes for like everybody. Introduce the corporate bad guy, introduce Eddie Brock, introduce his love interest, and that's basically it. They tried to do all this, and then they started moving into it's like, here's the intro, why you should care about these characters, but they all kind of sucked, to be honest. And then after that, they move into, let's start caring about these characters. But I never really got on that train with any of them. And I think that has a lot to do with the pacing, the editing, in some ways, somehow, it just, something about that all just really didn't blend. Whereas BVS's editing was really jerky and moved around a lot, Venom's editing and pacing just didn't move fast enough in certain points, and just really didn't have any emotional depth for you to really care so much about why this is. And I will be honest, part of me is biased because I had to continue to keep reminding myself of like, okay, look, this is a different take. It's not going to be like the comics. It's not going to be like the animated show. They're going to make some changes. And I had to remind myself that. I had to catch myself a few times. But essentially, I feel like if you're gonna take Spider-Man out of the equation, you basically have a generic character without any sort of history to him. And the history they tried to give him, and the reason they tried to give him, it just didn't really stick well. If you took away the name Venom from this movie, it would have been just fucking generic. There is nothing, even his name, even his name had no meaning to it. Venom's name, Riot's name, it just, they had names just to have names. That was it. There wasn't even let me put it this way. X-Men Wolverine, the Origins movie, at least they tried to give a reason to Deadpool to give his name, like, what did they say? Like a bunch of powers put together from dead mutants. It's a pool of dead mutants, a Deadpool or whatever, right? I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Um, I'm just disappointed because I always felt, judging by other Spider-Man movies, that Sony at least cares enough to try to, even with some of their marketing and their design work is good. I don't understand. And I feel like they're still writing movies like it's the 1990s and shit. But the bar has been raised so high for comic book movies that you can't churn out those generic type of screenplays because they've all been done to death right now. That's my thing. Um, to be honest, you guys are mentioning Fantastic Four. Um, I honestly, the Fantastic Four had a better um, storyline, at least a better screenplay, at least. Like, they built it up a lot better. Like, uh, in fact, I think the guy from Fantastic Four, I think the dad from Fantastic Four was in this movie, actually. Oh man. No, Samantha, I agree with you. Samantha is like, but Akasan, the problem is, why do they have to change it from the animated series or the comics. That's what I want to know as well. I don't understand why, like, why personally, here's what I would, if I was Sony, if I was Sony, this is what I would have done. Um, I would have done the Morbius movie first and work something out with Marvel to have Spider-Man. This is the thing I don't understand. I thought Spider-Man is Sony's property, and now they agree, or they, what does Sony own, does Sony 50-50 work with Spider-Man now? Are they, do they own half of Spider-Man now? Is it just a 50-50? They can't do movies without Spider-Man now, without they own 50, because my thing is, here's what I would have done is do the Morbius movie, have Spider-Man do a swing by, a quick cameo or whatever, and then do the rest of the movie with Morbius. And then that's that. Then in a future Spider-Man movie, do the alien costume situation. Alien saga, the alien symbiote saga, then the Venom, have him appear in that particular movie, then do the solo Venom movie. Because it just, I think for me, and I really tried to turn off the nostalgia part of this, but why the fuck are we going to see this movie otherwise? I really tried to turn it off, but it didn't really, it just didn't really have any substance as to why these aliens are around. There was a brief exposition of why the Venom symbiote is doing things differently, and it wasn't really passable, the reason why he was doing things differently than the other symbiotes. It's, yeah, yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm not, guys, avoid the the guy, yeah, okay, thank you, Lauren. Avoid the spoilers in the chat if you really don't want to know, but I'm just letting you guys know is like, it lack, the entire movie to me lacks substance. um I was actually disappointed when somebody in a Venom shirt, after the movie, we took a photo together beforehand, and then after the movie he came up to me, he was like, man, that was not bad, that was pretty good. And I was like, I just looked at him like, how are you gonna come here wearing a Venom shirt and tell me that, like, you enjoyed that? You guys might have to remind me, there a game? No, there was a game. There was a game with Venom black, wearing only black, no white spider, right? I think that was Ultimate Spider-Man or something like that. And so that's kind of what this movie was a little bit like. Just Venom running around in a black suit, like without the white spider. And I'm not trying to nitpick about that, but there, you know, he wasn't it was basically Venom without spider powers. And to me, that's not really Venom for the most part. Uh, yeah. Movies, was it entertains? What was it lacking? What kind of substance? Uh, right. exactly. Ultimate Spider-Man, for the most part, he did get the white spider at the end, right? So, uh, if you want to know what kind of movie it was, I think that was also the problem. Like they were they were trying. It had kind of this sci-fi monster escape science project sort of monster escape science experiment type of monster plot. But then they tried to throw in the typical I like this woman, I need to protect her type of story. And then they tried to throw in the villain lab rat, the villain who hates all of humanity type of thing and sees himself more superior than that. Um, Basically, it was just kind of weird. The buddy comedy. So he said, I heard it becomes like a buddy comedy between Eddie and Venom at one point. And at that point, that most people like that aspect. That's true. That was good. I personally wish that they used another voice for Venom because while I don't mind, the fuck is his name? Homie doing the Venom voice. It might have been kind of cool to like actually hear another voice, like a different type of voice in his head. And then when they talk, I always thought what was really clever with the animated series is the fact that they basically used Eddie Brock's voice, but then they added a double effect so it sounded like two people talking, which is the way it's supposed to be, like a symbiosis type of deal. Tom Hardy, thank you. Is Venom a sci-fi movie than a more of a sci-fi movie than a Marvel movie? Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, you could say that. It's funny because yesterday, or on the plane over here, it was an international flight. I ended up getting a chance to see what's that one movie called? Upgrade. Upgrade. Uh, and the whole thing with Upgrade is the fact that this dude gets an implant into his body, and it literally. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, like Upgrade, uh, it literally repairs his body and shit, and takes over his body. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, but yeah, it's literally the best, maybe the best part. If I had to choose something good about this movie, it is the conversations between Venom, which I've always thought they should call it the other or the host or whatever, between the Venom symbiote and um, Eddie Brock. Now it was interesting, but kind of goofy half the fucking time. Uh, like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe in the morning I'll be a little more entertained, but cool about it. But like I said, man, like they're writing it like it was a '90s movie or early 2000 movie, but it's just I think at this point the level has been raised just so much higher now that you just can't put this in. You just can't put this stuff out. And the end credits will remind you of that. Like the end credits will remind you about how goofy we some of these movies used to be back in the day. And like I think these studios think that we're all gonna get super hyped about it, but it just came off fucking corny, man. Like a fucking insult sometimes. Like I was really surprised. No spoilers, but just I was really surprised. I was like, wait, what the? Wait, was that supposed to like me and my homie? We looked at each other. We were like, "Nigga, was that supposed to be cool? Like, were we supposed to get hyped from that? That was fucking terrible, man." Like, oh man, dude. I'm gonna have to check who wrote the screenplay because it actually that plays off very similar to Amazing Spider-Man 2. If you remember Amazing Spider-Man 2, the whole deal with what the Green Goblin and shit, he fucking dropped the line like, "I think it's time to um add more people to the party," or some shit like that. Basically dropping Sinister Six and the whole thing with BVS. I think it's time for no, the end of Justice League where it's like, "I think it's time for a league of our own." I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, wow, Darth, that's funny. He said, "How about the whole thing of people laughing at scenes that they didn't know was intentional or not?" That's funny. You too, legitimately, the shit that we people were supposed to be like, I've so I'm in America, right? I'm in America, opening night. I'm used to people getting in America. I'm used to people getting hyped, clapping, cheering, screaming, whatever. This place was fucking dead silent, dude. And I was in Manhattan, opening night. This place was fucking dead silent. The biggest reaction the movie got was the Stan Lee cameo, and that was it. And even the joke that Venom made during the Stan Lee cameo, I laughed, but nobody else laughed. Um, Other than that, it was just, yeah, people were laughing at certain things, but I'm like, I was looking at it, and I'm like, I don't think that was supposed to be funny, actually. So it was just, yeah, fucking weird, man. Yep. Um, Parts of the movie that were in the trailer were way longer than they should have been. It made no point for that. And Slide said the same thing. It was just fucking predictable. This whole fucking movie was predictable. And yo, Sunblade, thank you, man. Yeah, Sunblade said, "So Venom equals Transformer 5. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I felt fucking nothing when Riot and Venom were fighting. I've basically felt the same shit I feel when watching the Transformers movies. I don't know what it is. That personally might be my take. So if you like Transformers movies and you get a feeling out of watching fucking CG robots fight each other, then it's all good. I personally have never really felt anything from just watching a video game on screen. So when Venom and Riot were fighting, this for me, maybe it's because it was in CG, it was in 3D, real 3D, but the CG looks really bad, and that's strange because I didn't think it was going to look that bad. But when they and particularly because Riot and Venom look very similar to each other, it reminded me of Transformers. You just saw a bunch of fucking goo on screen, and it wasn't even that interesting. So I don't know, man. If I, man, it sucks, man. I don't want Marvel to take everything away, but I feel like at this point, we 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 ain't gonna see another Venom movie in a long ass time. And I swear to God, if somehow they end up making a Venom sequel from Sony and certain characters are played by other characters, like by other actors, I ain't watching that fucking movie because those fucking end credits were terrible, man. And here's the thing: I was watching Armin's. Um, I was watching the wig, right? It's not connected to the MCU Spider-Man at all. And here's the thing. Oh my god. Here's the thing that annoys me in a sense is like I was watching a video from Comic Book Cast and they were talking about how they hope they can include Tom Holland in the sequel, Spider-Man in the sequel. But for me, I'm like, why the fuck would they at this point? There's no point anymore. There's no connection to Spider-Man in this first movie. What's the point of putting Spider-Man in the movie now? Venom's already established in more ways than one. Even some of Venom's supporting villains are established. Throwing Spider-Man in at this point doesn't make any sense. Like it literally doesn't have any emotional depth to it at all. The whole so there's no point. You might as well not even have Spider-Man in the movie anymore. Like you don't need Spider-Man anymore because they won't have any personal connection to each other at all. There's no point. So so fucking dumb. You know what the best part of this movie was, which was weird, was the final end credits was basically a preview for the Into the Spider-Verse movie. That was kind of weird. It was like a 5-minute movie of basically a preview of Into the Spider-Verse. So I almost feel like they technically should have showed that movie before. They should have been like, and now here's a sneak preview of Into the Spider-Verse, like that. God. I'm so disappointed, man. Anyways, guys, I gotta get some rest for the Batman panel tomorrow, and I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna edit the first impressions of the Spider-Man thing. It's still funny. You should still watch it. Not the Spider-Man, the Venom movie. I'm gonna upload that in a few minutes here, and you guys should still check it out. And I interviewed people today at Comic-Con about the Venom movie, their expectations of it, but more importantly, if the critics' scores correlate to them seeing the movies. If not, we got a bunch of hot girls I interviewed. KR Presents is editing it, so we should have that up in a day or not, or so. And then, that Eminem song is fucking stupid. Venom, 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 Venom. That shit made, like, this whole movie just was like an insult to my fandom, dude. I'm so mad. I'm so mad that I'm mad that people are gonna like this movie. I told you, that dude wearing the Venom shirt surprised the hell out of me. I'm like, how you gonna wear a Venom shirt with a white spider on there and say, yeah, that movie wasn't that bad. That was pretty good. Tyrone likes this movie? I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not surprised though, I guess. Venom or Justice League? Ooh, that's a good question, actually. Justice League was better. because Justice League was better because they knew there was already a problem and they were trying to fix something. Venom, if I were Sony, I would have personally waited till they could work out a better deal with Marvel to work something out with Spider-Man first and do the character justice. Until then, do a Black Cat movie, do a uh, Morbius movie like that. Fuck it, man. Even do a Craven the Hunter movie if you really need to do fucking Spider-Man villains that bad, but you can't include Spider-Man directly. That's fine. I don't give a shit. But you can't. You just can't do a villain who's literally birthed by Spider-Man and not have Spider-Man in that movie. I just couldn't get over that so much. And like I gave it a fair shot. I sat there and I'm like, okay, how are they gonna do it? How are they gonna introduce it? But you can't take some of the origin story, which is the origin story is essentially the same as the animated version, omit Spider-Man, but still have a character that has spider-like powers. It just oh well. Oh well. We knew better. We knew better. Oh well. I don't know. I don't know if I definitely don't want to see a sequel. The more and more I think about it, I don't want to see a sequel. Um, the end credits, yo, the end credits might end up being the Martha movie. I mean, the Martha moment of this movie, dude. That shit was fucking lame. Oh god, it was so fucking bad, dude. You'll see. You guys will all see. Oh man. The R rating wouldn't help at all. We still saw Venom biting fucking heads off. It was fine. All right, guys. I gotta start editing. I'm just so Did it really say that? It said in association with Marvel, I guess, but they still couldn't. I don't get it, man. I really don't get that shit. Like, yeah, nah. Like seriously, they really could have. I'm just thinking about some of the ways they changed. If they changed it around a little bit, I see what they did, but it just to create Venom in this story. But I felt like there was no substance, like that rage and that drive that drives Venom on the brink of insanity. There was just none of that. So it just felt very dull and neutered, basically. That's it, guys. I'm done. I'm so fucking done. All right. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're a hardcore fan, you probably are watching this movie anyways. But if you're like, for me, I couldn't detach. Maybe I just couldn't detach enough from what I know of what Venom is supposed to be like. And I just couldn't get into this version that I felt like it had no substance and didn't really have enough of a backing for me to really give a shit about anybody in this movie, unfortunately. Uh, yeah, that's basically so. Yeah, for me, Suicide was at least Suicide Squad had a better handled the characters better, and at least you kind of cared about it. So, oh well. All right, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here. But if you're a hardcore fan, check it out. If not, you won't be missing anything, and being spoiled about it, it's really not going to matter. There's just gonna be a lot of moments where you're just gonna be like, what is this? Like, yep. Good night, y'all. New videos in about 15 to 20 minutes. Peace.